As we do start off with something that is quite serious, something that is ongoing, something that we need to tackle in Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm talking about dealing with trauma. For some reason, there seems to be a new entity, a new something that's happening to Trinidad and Tobago, and we don't really know how to deal with it. It's something that I think every individual who goes through any form of trauma, which has been happening of late to many of us, and I'm sure that we know someone, everybody knows someone who has been through something that has traumatized their lives, and in essence, traumatized yours as well. But how do we deal with that? We need help, and people need to realize that we do need help. And to discuss this some more with me this morning is Hanif Benjamin from the Center for Human Development. So, good morning.
Good morning, Maria. Good morning.
Happy New Year to you.
I
was supposed to see you earlier this year, but
I know, but
oh, better late than never.
indeed,
So.
indeed, planning to ensure that we have the product that Trinidad and Tobago needs.
Yeah.
So, a happy New Year to you.
Thank you so much. As happy as it can be, because starting things off with events, especially crime-related events, that have in fact caused trauma to the country, to individuals, to families, to friends, to somebody that we may know. And even if we don't know them, you know, it affects us in some way as well. And one of the most recent things I need to mention is Rachel Ramkisoon. I think that is one of the things that really, it really hurt. It's not, unfortunately, I don't know, getting as much, you know, reaction. I don't know for what reason as the previous case. I don't know why, but that's not the point. The thing is that it is causing trauma in this country, and we are seeing people reacting to it. Last evening, I was mentioning to you, the grandmother is there, and how people are reacting on social media and not even thinking what the family is going through.
Correct. You see, the first and foremost, let me say that one death, all deaths are important, and everyone should be treated as such, and no one should be given prominence over the other. And I think that is where we need to start. Once we begin to understand that the unfortunate events that, you know, that one needs to be addressed and addressed across the board with the same vigor and the same energy. So first of all, I'll start by saying that. Secondly, Ria, what you're speaking about we call vicarious trauma. And one don't understand how that can impact a society. We already have to deal with the act in itself, which is the murder or the death. Then we now have to deal with the re-traumatization of a society. And unfortunately, where social media is not monitored and or guided, and or we as a people are not emotionally savvy or understand the ethics and morals behind social media, tend to do things that are feel good. So you find people posting things constantly. I mean, we have television shows showing the pictures. We have, you know, the picture being shown on the media. This is a child. And yet we seldom understand how this would continue to impact an already grieving family. You see, because the family is grieving and they try to come to terms with what is considered to be traumatic, sudden, and devastating. But if every single day you are met with constant barrage of negativity, of the constant pictures being posted, you are constantly reliving this trauma. And of course, you have people who have no information, creating their own information and posting that information. And unfortunately, once it is posted, it becomes truth.
And the thing is that I was mentioning last evening, I saw the grandmother on the news, and well, the grandmother, they were showing her hands. Thank goodness, at least they had the good sense to do that. And she's saying, please leave my granddaughter alone. People are posting all kinds of things on social media, on Facebook, and saying all kinds of things. And you're seeing her hands. And, you know, it's like, stop it, please. And you could hear the tears in her voice. You know, stop doing this. You know, we're trying to come to terms with what has happened. She was a good girl, and people are saying all kinds of things. People don't know what's happening. And that is just adding more. I mean, you can hear it. You could have heard it in the grandmother's
She was literally
voice.
pleading.
Yes.
She was
She was
pleading
begging.
with society to stop.
Yeah.
And you know, with the sensationalization of crime, with the need to sell, with the need to be famous and popular, people say and do things that just seem to continue to breed a sense of trauma. And I could feel the pain of that grandmother as you have explained it. With the hands, you can see the anxiety and the depression. People don't understand how pervasive trauma can be on a person. Trauma has the ability to alter one's life forever, right? And we live in a society where receiving traumatic help to deal with trauma is seldom, you know, it's not readily available. So people have to try to deal with this on their own. And we are so insensitive. We are so inhumane when it comes to traumatic situation, because what our thought, I mean, keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know. And what bothers me is that we take information without verification, and it turns into a volcano and just blow up there, and you comment and you think, and we see that not only for this case, but for many other cases before.
Do you think too that we have become insensitive as a society because we're seeing so much of this on a daily basis, and people are just becoming insensitive to these issues, and it's like, oh, look at this, and they're posting it, it's like, wow, look what happened. Do you think that is where we are at?
I think we are becoming numb. We have become numb to what is, and unfortunately that is not a good thing. A lot of people think that when you become numb you no longer deal, but that is not the case. When you become numb, your brain is trying now to cope with the amount of trauma that is exposed to, and they will find ways to deal with that, which is most times not positive. You see, so becoming numb is a horrible thing on two levels. On a personal level, how you deal with it, on a societal level, because it is saying that we are so exposed to trauma and trauma-related incidents that we are now saying, look, another one. Okay, fine, right? And that cannot be good for any society, right? So that whole becoming numb something is something that we need to address head on, because no society should be so comfortable in the fact that our children are being killed and go about our daily lives. That is madness. Once we have devolved into a society where it's okay and it's okay, cool, we move on, then something is wrong with the way we live. And from last year, well, from many years into this year, we are seeing where it is continuing to climb and climb and climb, and people are not understanding, and I've been saying it for a while. In Trinidad and Tobago, we are dealing with severe mental illness. We are dealing with a high level of depression, anxiety, worry, and panic. And we are not addressing those psychological impact. No one is addressing the psychological impact of crime. No one is addressing the psychological impact of vicarious trauma.
So where do we begin to start to deal with something like this? And I want to mention to the couple, one of whom they were shot at, and the woman was killed. Road rage.
Well, I don't even know if it is so much road rage as opposed to one feeling free. One feeling free to just, well, we don't know the full case, but based on what is reported, just feeling free to just shoot up a car in transit. It speaks to a level of braveness, a level of brazen that is again permeating society. And so it goes back to crime and criminality and stuff like that. And where are we? So you asking the question, where do we begin?
To start.
We need to understand a couple things.
Yeah.
We need to understand that we need to take the hardline approach to crime, but we must also take the sociological perspective to crime as well. We must understand that we must treat crime on many levels. Excuse. Unfortunately, we are treating crime when it happens, so we are always reactive as opposed to proactive, and that is where we need to start to look at things.
But I even think, and I know we have to wrap up, I even think that even the reactivity to crime is even short-lived.
Correct.
Because even if we have sessions where, you know, you have counseling sessions, it's for a time period and then it's forgotten. And then what?
That is a major challenge as well, the follow-up and follow-through. with victims of crime. That needs to be addressed as well. You know, victims feel as if once a crime happened and it's overtaken by police, it just keeps going. So you know, it tells us that we not only need to acknowledge that a crime has happened, but how do you then deal with it to make the society feel as if something is happening, to make society feel as if, you know, I am being heard. And a lot of people don't feel that way. You see, so we need to look at, one, what are we doing to deal with the crime situation currently? And we need to look at, two, our young people growing up, what they are doing and how we need to treat with them so that they don't follow the path of crime. You see, right now we're throwing a lot of money behind what has already happened, and we are negating the fact to look at what is to come. I mean, we could look at the trajectory. We could look at mental illness in schools. We could look at school dropout. I mean, when you look at the statistics with people who ride the CXC and these things, what percentage of people pass and go on to a higher level of education? How many leave without certification? Where are they? What goes on with them? How are they intermingling in society? What are we doing with the difficult children in our society? Right, we're expelling them, we're suspending them. But what programs are we putting in place to ensure that they don't walk down a prescribed path?
But Hanif, I know that you are one of these people who's very instrumental in getting these things off the ground and doing something. But who is really supposed to do something to move us forward, to get to that point, to train our people, to teach our people, to help our people, to help citizens of Trinidad and Tobago to move past this, to understand and learn and move past this? Who?
Well, at the Center for Human Development area, as you know, we have been pushing, we have been fighting, we have been knocking on doors to try to make things happen. The center, we cannot be, and that is why I have always advocated the pie. I always go back to that. You don't go to your pizza parlor and get 11 slices out of 12, and they say, well, this slice are feeling to work today. That cannot be. Trinidad and Tobago needs to look at itself as a pie, and I cannot understand why everybody is going to Facebook and say the government need to do something. The Minister of National Security, the Prime Minister need to do what he needs to do, take a gun and go into everybody's home and protect them. We as society, we as the people, we need to understand our role and our responsibility here. We need to understand who is the box that makes up the pie, who needs to understand who are the slices, who are the ingredients. We need to come together. And it is time for us to stop pointing fingers at one another and say, you need to fix it, I need to fix it. How many of us turn a blind eye to crime? How many of us close the curtain to our neighbors' cry for domestic violence or children or child abuse? How many of us put up the volume when we're hearing abuse? How many of us, you know, break the traffic light? I mean, everybody keep talking about they need to do something, but they are us. We make up all of Trinidad and Tobago. And until we recognize our place in that pie, crime will never be managed. Now, crime can't stop. You can't stop crime, but we could manage it. And until we as a society need to understand our role and our responsibility, religion, you understand, NGOs, government, business, we need to all recognize that we will pay at some point, right? Because everybody don't want to pay nothing right now. Everybody want to hold onto their pocket. But we will pay, and we're seeing where we are paying every single day. If people are fearful and we can't go out to enjoy dinners because we're afraid that somebody will shoot up our car, the restaurants will suffer, right? If we don't, the prison will get the money, our children will. So we are all going to pay at some point. My Herculean cry is for all of society to recognize that we are responsible. You understand? I can help to the extent in terms of understanding trauma, and as a social worker, social scientist, to understand how we could help that. Other people need to come forward and offer their services. Now, I must say, Ria, there are many people doing a lot of stuff in all the corners and pockets, but we need to make a collaborative effort to end the scourge of crime and trauma in our society.
And you know, the thing about that is that we are seeing more groups coming together to do certain things. They are gathering, you know, little by little, you know, a group of people trying to make a difference. But it's the wider society who I still don't, and people want to say, okay, it's a culture thing. and blame it on a culture thing too. But you know what? You can change that. You can shape that if you really want to.
Correct.
But it has to begin with you, and people need to understand it needs to begin with you, the
Just
individual.
a simple restraint on social media will help in so many ways.
And you know, you see so many people pleading, please take this picture down. You know, I saw, if you haven't seen it yet, or if you haven't posted, please do not, and please take it down, whoever posted it. And then bam, it's on the television yesterday.
I mean, it's crazy.
It's insensitive.
I mean, one of the things, before we go, one of the things that I'm working on, last year we would have done parenting on social media. So we're designing and training ethics and moral within social media, because not only our children need to learn that, but we all need to understand our role and our responsibility as it relates to social media. And Matt, the Media Association, needs to come up with some strong measures to deal with social media and television.
And we need to understand too that not everything we read on social media is fact, is truth.
Well, that's a
Please,
different show.
that's a whole different topic. But thank you so much once
Always
again,
a
Hannah
pleasure.
Benjamin. I know that we're going to continue this discussion because it's something that has to be continued.
Correct,
we
correct,
have to make our
correct.
people understand this is what we need, and it starts with you. So
Definitely.
thank you once again, Hannah Benjamin, from the Center for Human Development, talking about dealing with trauma, fear, and worry in 2017, and not just 2017, throughout, okay? Past, present, and future as well. We need to deal with this situation, and it begins with you.